Alright, another draft science video presentation. This one completely different. So if you're not interested in Google politics or the whole cancel culture thing, any kind of understanding of give a damn about the whole idea of free speech or fair access to the internet or those kind of subjects don't mean anything to you, then ignore this video. But if there is any potential interest, so Google has put another strike on my Inmendum account. So the Inmendum videos account, the account that's an archive for the videos, the channels that YouTube has eliminated off the internet, unjustly, completely unjustly, deplatformed me for no good reason whatsoever. I had a channel called Do Not God, and they deplatformed it without any rational reasoning. And one day. 3 strikes in one day. No specifics. Anyway. So this is what YouTube's been harassing me my whole existence on YouTube. The Inmendum channel was actually exterminated for a whole year. And, because some insider was able to pull some strings somewhere, that's the only reason why the channel was recovered. But not because YouTube has any policy for appealing or any capacity to get a fair trial. It's just YouTube's opinions. YouTube decides who has a platform on the internet, essentially, and I would argue they shouldn't have that platform. YouTube should be, put out of business, so to speak, in the sense the government should step in and oblige it to protect rights. It thinks Google has some obligation to protect people from other people's free speech, but they don't have an obligation to protect free speech. And that's putting the cart, not even connected to the horses. That's being too silly. So clearly they're processing in their effort to deplatform me. So I can't post videos at all on the Inmendum Videos channel, and now the Inmendum channel is in jeopardy. So I can't post for a week, but after that I'm asking for trouble to post a video. And they've done to this channel. So this channel, they have given it its first strike for no good reason at all. And so there's no reason they're going to be able to justify in a court as being fair. In the sense I can point to millions of videos, literally, still on YouTube that are much more obviously hate speech, much more obviously a violation of people's human rights, a violation of their privacy, a violation of their dignity, a violation of anything anybody could see as being the reason to censor. There's millions of videos on YouTube right now that deserve, by their own standards, to be taken off YouTube. And they don't take them off because, why? Because somebody doesn't flag them. That's what's missing. So without the flaggers, their policy doesn't work at all. So it's clearly just about how aggressive your enemies are. It has nothing to do with any principle, any ideal, or protecting anyone. It's just about empowering trolls. And that's what YouTube routinely does. I have to give YouTube a phone number to even access my account. They have to have my phone number. How come these clowns can make these fake accounts all over the place? What phone numbers are they using? Obviously fake ones. Obviously bullshit ones. This is just, Anyway, so they've taken it, YouTube has taken it a step further. So I'm just saying, I'm just making a record here. I believe YouTube is doing it maliciously. Okay, they have full knowledge of what they're doing. They're discriminating against people based on their own internal political decisions, their own preferences. And they're telling the rest of the world, my preferences are now going to be your preferences. Google controls access to thought, and they're policing it by their own standards, not a country standard, not some well-tested court decision standard, their own standards. They've routinely violated the DMCA in that they are pre-censoring content. They're not allowing you to use fair use if it's a Sony. But if it's some other company, if my rights or copyright rights are violated, I'm obligated to file a court case. I have to file a court case, or they won't protect my content. but Sony doesn't have to. That's a violation of the law. All right, so I'm just letting YouTube and Google know, okay, that if you are going to deplatform me, I'm not going to, like Alex Jones, you're not going to have the goods on me. You're not going to be able to come into court and show where I did violate somebody's personal rights, where I violated anyone's privacy, or where I hated against any protected class. You're not going to find any of that on my actual videos. And you're not going to find it in my personal life either. So you're not going to win the case, and your deplatforming is going to be unjustified. And so the step further they've gone is they've deplatformed my website. All right, so I did 2 different searches in a Firefox, private window. So they didn't know it was me, right? Because if it's me, I get different results. So I have to go to a private window to see what the real internet is, right? Well, anyway, so I put in exact words from my website, the exact phrases from it. All right, so all the words are in exactly the right order on my website that I put into the search result. My website doesn't come up as any of the results. So they say 1 in 1.4 million or whatever they say here, pages, 11 of 1,290,000. They don't produce 1,290,000 results. They don't show them to you. They show you 200. That's it. Okay, there's no way to get any more. They conclude the search. So anyway, this is page 11. I went through all the pages. My site never comes up. Okay, so mine has all the words. The words are highlighted here. So of course their algorithm would say it's going to bring up the result. The first result is going to be the one that has the most words in the same sentence even, or the same paragraph. That would be the result that's going to come up first. Mine has it exactly in the right order, exactly the same phrase, and it doesn't come up at all. All right, so then I did the search with the same phrase in quotes. So this is a different phrase just to try to prove the same thing. So here's a different phrase unique to my website and Quora, and the Quora page doesn't come up either. So it has all the words in the exact right sequence, and my page doesn't come up in any of the results. None. You get to the last page of the search results, and that's it. All right. Then I did it with it in quotes. Okay, it still doesn't appear. All right. So then I went to Bing. Okay, which doesn't make any sense. I'm just saying, for it not to come up at all on any of that, clearly that's discrimination. They've clearly decided not to allow. Let me just make sure. They might have done it when it's an exact quote. So I just want to be fair. I know I did it. All right. So let's just whoops. I didn't get a quote for some reason. All right. Search. All right. So there it comes up. Draft physics. So yes, if I put it in quotes, it comes up. But if I have any word out of alignment, it doesn't come up. Not at all. Okay. Just not. It's not like it's, again, it has to be in exact quotes for even the Quora statement, because it had the same statement in the Quora webpage for that to come up. It has to be an exact quote. Otherwise, it doesn't come up at all. Not at all. Okay, not in any of the results. So, now the search now got broken. Now they've eliminated all my Bling results. So I have to go back and then forward again? Yeah. Now what? Yeah, it's broken it. Well, that sucks. All right, I have to fix that. Damn. It's just irritating because I had them all set up already. All right, back. So this is Bing. Microsoft. There's only really 2 search engines to choose from. These are the only 2 companies that have real search engines. All the rest of them are synthetic reformations of these searches. So this is pretty bad, when everything's dependent on these 2 companies. That's really bad. All right. So if I just use the words, no quotes, we go through some crap here, and it should come up. There it is. So the 7th or 8th result, draftphysics.com. for obvious reasons. It has every single word in it. Okay, so my website has exactly the same phrase, all the words in the right order. So of course it should come up. All right. It's the only page that has the words in exactly the same order. So obviously it should come up. The algorithm would say yes if the whole sentence, the whole phrase is the exact quote from the page, then obviously that's probably a relevant page. All right, so then when it's put in quotes, it comes up as the first result. But the point is, there's no excuse for Google's algorithm to not give any, not even to show a page that has all of the words, exactly in the right order. So now it comes up as the first result because it's in quotes and it's exactly the right phrase, blah, blah, blah. So, it's just kind of obvious. There's no explanation for why their algorithm would have a prejudice against a page that has the exact words. So I'm just saying, obviously, Google is dissing the stuff on the internet. It's value weighting it, okay, based on its own opinion, not any facts. Just what it has decided that it'll be prejudiced against. It's clearly doing that. All right, so there's no other explanation that would be reasonable. There's no reason for, again, an exact quote unless they've degraded the donotgo.com domain, unless they've in some way triggered it not to be a relevant result, given it a downgrade. So anyway, just pointing out that the internet isn't what you think it is. It is being controlled by corporations with obviously an opinion, a whole philosophy, and they're overtly discriminating against anything hostile to the worldview they have. And that's not the company that's supposed to be running the internet. It's not an open company. It doesn't show us their algorithm. It doesn't show us how they produce their search results. It doesn't tell us what kind of gimmicks they've thrown into those results to, decredit, to make content not as visible. So how much stuff on the internet are we not seeing because there's no competitive environment for search engines anymore. You don't have the choice to go to the one that gives you everything like you used to have. All right, they all had to show you the whole internet because no one would use the search engine that was censoring part of the internet, obviously. So the more they showed, the more they revealed, the more likely it is you were to use that search engine. So by destroying all the competition, becoming this silly monopoly, we've allowed the Borg Google to define what's on the internet. And it does define what's on the internet. There's absolutely no other way to really realistically navigate the internet without a quality search engine. And it's clearly not a quality search engine if it ignores every word in a series of words and ignores the site that's going to be most relevant to that arrangement of words. So anyway, I'm just throwing that in. So just to the trolls, yes, you're winning at the moment, okay? You have degraded my access on the internet, but Farley just typed a comment on one of my videos that was, absolutely obnoxious slander, accusing me of a real crime, saying a real event did take place and all of this kind of crap. It's, overtly lying about somebody, okay? And it's an overt lie. And I'm just saying I'm this close now to suing Google, so suing you as part of that lawsuit won't cost me an extra dime hardly. I will have to pay a little bit extra, okay, to have you served and a few other things, but paperwork wise, it doesn't make any difference. 15 copies, 16 copies, who cares? So just keep, keep making the event happen and you're going to get your wish and you'll be in court for a couple of years. Well, you'll be harassed with paperwork you're going to have to fill out, but you're going to have to answer the questions. Somebody's going to make an assertion about what you did and why you did it, and you're going to have to explain that somehow it's not what it obviously looks like, which is psychotic harassment. All right. You know, I hate speech in as complete a form as it can be. A reckless, sloppy liar on the internet. All right. So anyway, just for the record, you know, Google is evil. I know there's no political interest in stopping evil by most people. They think that somehow they're getting well served by these corporations when they're getting well controlled by them. It's not making search better on the internet to have a monopoly. A monopoly doesn't in any way enhance search results. It's like the worst possible industry to have a monopoly in, because there's no efficiency with mass production. Mass production of propaganda, of censorship, isn't valuable. That's a downside, not a good thing. The only thing Google can produce by being a monopoly, the only efficiency it can possibly produce, is the efficiency of controlling your behavior and selling more of its ads. There's no efficiency for us, the consumer. We don't get anything better because Google has a monopoly. So, you know, there's every reason to say we should at least have a public alternative. We should have a public library style index of the internet, okay, that doesn't have any right to censor the internet. It just tells people you have a right to sue somebody, so sue them, okay. Yes, you have that right, but the index will be honest rather than dishonest. So anyway, yeah, so fuck you, Google. I mean, this is such bullshit. You know, the appeal took like 43 seconds for YouTube to process, probably just done by a computer. You know, it's probably just, you know, nobody even read what I wrote. I mean, I just pointed out how there's no hate speech in the video, so you haven't proven any hate speech. Just name where I hate speeched. I mean, all I did was talk about. And what I did in the video was talk about a conversation about the Holocaust. I didn't talk about even the subject. I just used the word Holocaust. Yes, that came up in the conversation, and it was just the context of, you know, people keep posting comments on my videos calling me a Holocaust denier, and I keep saying, well, that's not really what I am, and you really don't have a right to call me that. So to defend myself against their accusations, Google says I'm committing some offense. I'm not allowed to defend myself against the accusation. I'm not allowed to explain it. Somebody can just call somebody else a racist, and they have no right to say, well, I've never done anything racist against anybody. I've never voted for any law that would discriminate against anybody based on their race. That they can just say it. And if you defend yourself, you're somehow committing a hate crime. I mean, this is way too far over the bullshit cliff. Way too far. And it's pitiful that, you know, well, look, you're idiots, so you can't do any better than this. This is the best you can do, you know, in terms of supporting civilization. You can't do physics worth shit. You can barely add 2 + 2, and the fact that you love corporations just proves how fucking dumb you people are. Oh, god damn. It's a sad world. Especially for anybody who had any notion that smart people might save the day someday. Clearly the smart people are your worst enemy, because all they use their intelligence to do is scheme and lie and connive and bullshit. And that's been already proven by the fact that there's nobody making a rational counter-argument to a motherfucking thing I've said. Truth. Alright, so that's enough of this video. Disappointing. But not unexpected, as I've already pointed out. You can sort of see Google's writing on the wall in terms of preparing to justify their deplatforming of anyone who doesn't have commercials on their videos. They've already made it part of their terms of service excuse that we can just cut you off anytime we want to, unless you put commercials on your videos. So anyway, so till the next time and such. And so you get the world you make, and frankly, none of you people seem at all interested in changing a fucking thing, and that's just sad. Okay, that's enough. Fuck. So this really hasn't been a draft science video production, but so we'll skip the usual ending and just say goodbye. Fuck you people, you dumb bastards. It's too stupid.